You've been charged with a crime, and one of the key questions you want to know is this. The police did not read you your rights. Everyone has watched crime shows on television, and you've heard the reading of Miranda rights, the right to remain silent, the right to consult with an attorney and to have that attorney present with you during questioning. And if you can't afford an attorney, the right to have one appointed for you to be with you during any questioning. And so what is the implication of law enforcement not reading you your rights? Well, if you watch television, you think that law enforcement officers always have to read a person their rights. But that's not correct. What you want to understand is this. Law enforcement officers only have to read you your Miranda rights if they are engaging in custodial interrogation. Now that's a two-part test. Is interrogation taking place, and is it custodial interrogation? Well, almost always it's interrogation, right? They're asking you, what did you do? When did you do it? Where were you? Do you have any alibis? Those sorts of questions. So it's almost always interrogation. The critical question is it custodial interrogation? Well, in Florida, custodial has been defined as when a person's freedom of movement has been restrained to that degree associated with formal arrest. Let's take an example. You get pulled over for a speeding ticket. Well, you're not free to leave, right? You're not just going to drive off when the officer walks up to your car. But that's not custodial, that situation. Why? Because yes, you're not free to leave, but you know you're not under arrest. You haven't been put in handcuffs. You haven't been told you're under arrest. You haven't been put on the ground by the police officer or restrained in any way. Those are the sorts of indicia of being in a custodial situation. The officer has told you under arrest. The officer has put you in handcuffs. The officer has restrained you on the ground. And if after being in a custodial situation like that, the officer asks you questions, interrogates you, then the statements that you make, which by the way you shouldn't talk to a law enforcement officer without a lawyer, but any statements you do make are only admissible in court if the law enforcement officer has read you your Miranda rights. As a former prosecutor, as a former FBI special agent and a licensed private investigator who's worked in the criminal law field for 17 years, I'm extremely familiar with the concepts involved in reading an individual their rights, when they have to and when they don't. Sit down with me, let's talk about your situation, and I can tell you whether your rights have been violated.